Hey there, hi there, ho there. How are you? Not calling you ho, unless the shoe fits. Um, I don't know how this audio is going to work because I'm not using my microphone. If you could, ooh, I'm not good at that. There it is, right back there. That is not a dildo. It's my microphone. I think I found the cause of the problem. Is that a hair on the screen? Um, but I have not quite figured out the solution other than taking my microphone somewhere to get it fixed. Maybe my audio wasn't even that great to begin with. Who knows? But here I am. I'm going to be making some balls. And I thought I would craft and chat. Getting ready to start watching the third day of jury. Oh my gosh, am I having a stroke? I don't know. No. So I am getting ready to watch the third day of jury selection on the Murdaugh trial. I know one of our other buddies said, I think she's going to stream when the trial starts. I don't know if she means now. I had no idea that people were allowed to, at least in the state of South Carolina, were allowed to, I'm just, if you hear, I'm snipping and making my balls extra bally because that's a thing, in case you didn't know. Your balls have to be bally, not just regular balls, bally balls. But without showing the potential jury members' faces, they are doing live streams, they being the court, news, media, of jury selection, just the audio, which I kind of found interesting. And I keep getting it confused. Is it in Colleton County or Hampton County that this is being? Where is being held? Because so many crimes had Colleton County and Walterboro. Okay, and I didn't say that right. Walterboro. Hampton County, Colleton County. I think they worked in Hampton County, but I don't freaking know. It's a hot mess. Typically, I'm not as in-depth interested in things like this as they are happening, but for two reasons. One being I live in the state where all of this has taken place. It has and does affect politics, because what tangle webs we weave, he's webbed quite a few, he being Alec Murdaugh, or Murdaugh, however you want to say it, and who knows. I've heard his family and otherwise pronounce it 15 different ways. Murdaugh, Alec, whatever, who knows. People here do pronounce things very weird, and yes, I grew up in the South, so whatever. But that is number one. I live here, and it does kind of affect our lives here. It affects who we're going to elect. His defense attorney is a politician here in South Carolina. Dick Harpootlian, as I like to call him, Harpootlian. He is quite the House of Cards Kevin Spacey character. He is a nut. Sorry, I think I'm in private chat for some reason. Hey, Stacy, how are you? And then the second one is so how all of this got blown up. There was an investigative reporter. Hey, Nikki. Did you see Wicked Pickle is going to cover the Murdaughs? I'm kind of talking about it a little bit now. So sorry you didn't join the cool train while you could. I mean, it's not like you had life going on or anything. And friends betraying you and all kinds of other stuff. But anyway, back to more interesting things, okay? It's not true. But I vaguely heard about the boat crash, the thing that made everything blow up, because Mandy Matney, who is an investigative journalist, wrote about it. And then one of her mentors explained to her, if you want the story, follow the money. So she started following the money with this, and led to so many other things. Then I vaguely heard about the boat crash. Then the summer of, was it 2019? Who knows? So much has happened. Then the boy who allegedly, because he never actually went to trial and got convicted, caused the boat crash that ended in somebody's life. Oh, it's busy in Mean Girls? Oh, yeah, true. I don't really pay attention anymore. It's so great. Hey, Kristoff fan always, how are you? It's so good to see you, and everyone else as well, but I just haven't seen you in a hot minute. But so one of the sons who allegedly caused a boat crash, he and his mother were murdered one summer. I remember seeing it on the news, and me and my husband even kind of turned and looked at each other. I don't watch the news often, but I was this time, and said, oh, that really sucks. Sounds like someone got some backwoods justice. Don't condone it, but I'm saying, like, if this is a influential South Carolinian family, they're probably never going to be held accountable for it. So to me, I instantly thought, which I don't think was a coincidence, that the family of the boat crash victim or someone associated with them was responsible for his death and his mom's death. And by the way, I probably look sick. I cannot find my mascara and it's bothering me. And I understand I constantly look like I don't have eyebrows, even though I do. I don't really know how to do them. I've tried a little like fill in stuff, but it just looks a little Katie, if you ask me. I'd rather have none than sperm on my face. But that's what we thought about people taking justice into their own hands. But that I kept seeing it in the news and this like dynasty family. I'm like, okay, who are these people? I don't know who these people are. Although we do live in the state, it's like I live up here, they live down here. And I'm not talking because I'm above them, but I'm literally geographically above and to the side. They live on the coast, something called the Low Country in South Carolina, kind of marshlands, coastal area. And I live up near the Appalachian Mountains, the foothills of the foothills. I don't know what's before foothills, but it's that. So I can see them sometimes from my house. But doing a Google search, found Mandy Matney's podcast. And I may check Discord. I know court's supposed to start at 11, so I don't want to like overlap or take away from Wicked Pickle. If she is doing anything right now. I didn't even know she had a channel until just last night. I had no idea when she mentioned, she posted a thumbnail of her covering the Murdaugh trial. I'm like, what? So I don't even know if I've gone. Oh no, where am I at? Anyhow, found Mandy Matney's podcast. And by then I want to say it was around 5 episodes, no more than 10. And she was reporting on it as events were happening and unfolding. I don't think if I started following this right now, I would be able to do it. It is just, you need one of those pen string boards, but you probably need to make it your whole entire room. I'm talking drug deals from the 80s, jellyfish, people who have already passed, making some money by making them fit in the coffin a little better, by maybe making them a little shorter. Um, just so much stuff that is absolutely insane. Um, so yeah, those are the two reasons, like, I'm really interested in this, because I've listened to Mandy's podcast now. It's kind of like, I know it's definitely a national thing. I don't know if it's an international thing, but she's the one who first reported on the boat crash and has sat here and covered this the whole time. And I have said little prayers for her. Um, I I remember when I first talked to Nikki, I'm kind of glad this is bigger news, and I'm still hesitant at how much to say, when to say what. I don't know these people, not connected to these people in any way, shape, or form. But like I said, South Carolina is almost like a small town. And I may or may not have family members who are maybe 3 times adjacent removed in their very serious careers. These people don't play. I've been ostracized from a neighborhood gathering just for saying the wrong thing, not even in this, talking about this topic, but I grew up in the South, thought I understood the culture, and I do. South Carolina is a different breed. I had been around old money before, and by that I mean slavery cotton money, and that was closer to like Alabama, Mississippi, those kind of people. When I moved to South Carolina, it was just different. Like, I'd been around people who were snotty because their family name and whatever, and how much money they have. But there was something weird and different about these people. But you almost can't even say that because they get super offended. Um, you can get very ostracized. I don't quite fit in here. Normally, the people I fit in with are not originally from here. I have one very close friend that is from South Carolina. One. My husband's not from here. I'm not from here. And that's not to dig on people. It's just, it's kind of cult-like. And it's all influenced, in my opinion, by people from the Low Country, and because that's where Charleston is, the ports, money, rice plantations, cotton plantations, whatever. So when this first started coming out, I wanted to cover this on my channel, but I was kind of afraid to. And I'm still somewhat afraid to, and that's not quite what my channel is about, but I do like talking about whatever I like talking about. But it's just absolutely wild. And I personally am so grateful for Mandy and now Liz's coverage on this. It's her partner on the podcast, Liz is, because I think it's creating change here in South Carolina. It's definitely exposing people and shining the light on things. And yes, we already knew politics were corrupt, but this is kind of like a different backwoods Southern mafia type of politics. Like, people who talk have wound up not around anymore. So kind of circles back to, I thought people here were being snotty and not letting people in. Not that I wanted to. I just wanted to, like, to be in their group. I just wanted it not to be awkward in social settings. It's very awkward here. Um, but when I started listening to this podcast, I'm like, oh, it's not just that it was a snobby thing. These people don't want you to get too close because then you'll know what kind of things they're associated with. And to me, it seems like it's a whole bunch of covering for people, potentially like blackmailing people, emotionally blackmailing people. It's pretty common that gossip here, to me, is on a different level, especially with males, than I had ever encountered before. I was like, these dudes like to run their mouths more than some chicks that I know. And I don't mean to stereotype that only chicks gossip or that's all that women do, but the pettiness and the level of comparison and cutthroat stuff, it even when men were involved, was just, again, a level that I hadn't experienced before. And I haven't been looking at the chat. Hey, good morning, Grace Case. Yeah, you would have been a good jury member. It's interesting. Again, they started late yesterday. I might even just get off of here so I can listen. But yesterday was the second day of jury selection. And again, they had audio, which I personally, of the jury members answering questions, I think that's rather unsafe. Although this could qualify to go to federal court, which I've understood through listening to the podcast, because she has an attorney named Eric Bland who represented one of Alec Murdaugh's victims and former clients. If you're familiar with, like, I know I'm going here, there, and everywhere, but if you're familiar with Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Erica Girardi, her husband, being like a personal injury attorney and either never giving victims their money or not giving them all of it, that's kind of what, that's what Alec Murdaugh has been accused of doing. And so this attorney was representing one or more of his former clients. And they're having this trial in Colleton County, which is a small area, which the history of this family is Alec, and I know his dad was a solicitor, which is the South Carolina equivalent of a district attorney in this district. His grandfather was a solicitor. I believe his great-grandfather was as well. Alec was not, but Alec was an attorney who's no longer. But there are people online saying, oh, I was watching the jury selection and I heard so-and-so, like, I know they're the manager of blah, 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 which is some of the questions they have to ask what their employment is. And people know who they are without seeing their face, just hearing their voice and hearing their occupation, because it's a very small area. Well, part of the reason these people have been able to get along or get away with as much as they have for as long as they have is because people are afraid of them and they have influence and power. Not even just financially. Again, there are people who aren't alive anymore who have been in close contact with these family or otherwise. I don't minimize any crimes, but wondering why this one is such a high profile. Have you ever read a Southern Gothic or um, I mean, all that I can liken this to, but worse, is my favorite book, Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil. Have you ever read that or watched the movie? It's like this, but every time you think you know something, something else has occurred. This started with one chain of events, and while people were covering this one chain of events, another murder happened, and then they found out there were people stealing from victims. And then they found out some of these victims aren't alive anymore. And this guy's friend, Alec, had people that worked for a bank in the capital of our state become conservator of their funds and basically have stolen their money and or misused their funds. Um, One of his former clients somehow was taken off life support, and although there are systems in place for that to have alarms go off when the life support is off, and this person couldn't speak because they were deaf and they were a quadriplegic, so there was no way they could get help. He was taken off life support somehow, wasn't scheduled, permitted, anything. He was, in fact, set to be sent home, and care was being set up. He passed, and somehow his money, because, sorry, Alec represented this dude, won him a bunch of money. This dude went into like a rehabilitation hospital after the accident in Augusta, South Carolina. There's two Augustas. There's an Augusta, Georgia, and Augusta, South Carolina. It is divided by the Savannah River, which is also goes down to the low country. We traveling by boat. So his funds from his conservatorship were still being used even after he passed. There's also been things uncovered that this man has been associated with people who have smuggled some goods into America by boat in the 80s via Miami and stuff like that, you know? Well, I know Miami's part of this country. I'm talking Cuba, Miami, because there's interesting pieces of land along the coast and along the Savannah River that have seemed like a lot of our politicians own. Weird strips of land, and they don't do anything with it. And they're all waterfront properties. They don't sell it. They don't develop it. And I'm talking, it'll be not like a square acre of land. It'll be like I don't know exactly, but like a 1 foot acre all along the Savannah River. It's kind of like the House of Cards. I didn't really watch that. My husband did. I know a little bit about it. It's like uncovering so many secrets, deaths, scandals, disgusting behavior. And it kind of unfolded while the first thing was happening. And then like a couple days later, you're like, holy crap, the kid who caused the boat crash, he and his mom were shot and killed. Holy crap, 4 months after that, somebody supposedly tried to assassinate Alec. What? It turns out, no, he hired his cousin to do it. What? It turns out, I mean, just it's like a big, giant, psychotic soap opera. It's insane. And that's just the brief synopsis. Jersey JoJo did? Yeah. Yeah, it's quite insane. Is Wicked Pickle's YouTube page called Wicked Pickle? Because again, I don't want to. Oh, and oh my goodness. Um. No, 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 no. Alex Murdaugh, his defense attorney, is a politician in South Carolina. And just to watch him speak is, again, if you've ever watched Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil, or I guess House of Cards, that's how other people know him, Kevin Spacey and his Southern evil character. That's what his attorney is like, Dick Harpootlian. It's very theatrical, very deep Southern Charleston drawl. He's an asshole. And it's just watching an insane show unfold again. I don't know if I personally would be as invested if it weren't in my state. And again, I hadn't followed along from almost the beginning, but it's just twist after turn after twist after turn. And so many people have said nobody could have even written a better movie or a better book. Like, no one could have thought this up. It's just insane. And Mandy, the investigative reporter, she has announced that they've made a deal with Hulu to make a scripted series about this. I think it sounds like it's from her perspective, because listening to her podcast, she is very respectful and concerned about the victims, the families, and exposing the truth. Like, even though she is a reporter, she is not just doing this. In fact, she kind of left her job to cover this. And again, I'm not even anywhere near these people or near associated with them. And I'm nervous to talk about things publicly. She is like an hour away from these people. And again, people who have spoken before, or maybe we're going to testify to some federal drug trafficking charges back when, may have accidentally been hit by a car right before the trial. So it's fascinating, but it's serious. And to be able to know of some of the players involved, it just, I don't know. It's crazy. I don't remember what question of my own I was answering, but there you go. Let's see. I miss Jersey JoJo. Yeah, I haven't seen her. Of course, I'm kind of not really in the worlds of she's really busy with work, but she always says how much she misses the fun too. Yeah. And it was not fun around here for a while. I think it's getting fun again, because most people are ignoring the dum-dums. So, yeah. Anyway, I just kind of wanted to chat about it for a minute. And again, I was making my balls ballier because I'm crafting to put stuff in my booth. But I hope you guys are doing well. And I'm going to get off of here because I'm going to go see if I can watch more of the jury selection. And I don't know how much Wicked Pickle is going to do, but there might be times, I don't want to interfere with what she's doing, but I mean, there are going to be times I'm sitting here watching the trial anyway, so I may stream it. I don't know what the rules are of everything, but yeah, because I mean, if anybody's here to like chit chat about it while we watch, that would be, um, I don't want to say fun. It'd just be nice to have people to talk about it with. All right, bye guys. I hope you have a good day, and don't come to the low country of South Carolina unless you're well prepared.